Hey everyone, hey Pantomime. Am I here? Yes, I am. Can you guys hear me okay? Hello, how are you? Hope you're doing well today. Okay, so today is a little bit of a new topic. I don't know if you guys are looking forward to talking not Idaho 4 or if you're like new about it, but we'll see how it goes. Let me know as well in chat and on replay and all of that. Like, have you heard about this case, Twin Flames Universe? I guess it's not really a case yet, but have you guys heard about the story? And if you're on replay, just put it in the comments for me, please. I'd like to know, because there's been like a couple of not Netflix, but one of them is Netflix. There's been a couple of documentaries about it. So I'm interested to know who's seen it. Okay, so I'm doing things a little bit differently today. I made a presentation to introduce you guys to this case. So I hope you like that. Let me know as well. Hold on, let me share my screen. So for some reason, I wanted to make this as a PowerPoint for you guys, and I couldn't get like the images of Canva to save in PowerPoint form. So it is here as a PDF, but it's a good start. I hope this is okay and that you guys can see it okay. So what we're going to go through today, and I have a couple of videos that I want to show you guys. This is actually a really interesting case, or at least it will be, because I think that, you know, the officials are alluding to an investigation into this. So it's nice that we can kind of get into the facts early. So just so you know, this is about Twin Flames Universe. It's about these two people here, which we're going to learn a lot about, but their names are Jeff and Shalia. Her name's not really Shalia. I think her name's Megan, but she changed her name. And his name, I think, is Jeff, which is not really a very good supervillain name, right? Like Jeff just sounds like a nice guy, you know? But yeah, we'll see. Okay. So Twin Flames Universe is a organization that's mostly run online, and it's run by this couple, Jeff and Shalia, the ones who are on all of the slides. And like I just said already, there's been a lot of documentaries. There was Netflix, Amazon Prime, and CTV. I think that's Canada TV. And the documentaries were really not flattering, like not friendly documentaries. So none of them were like putting Twin Flames Universe in a good light at all. And there are a couple of former members of this group in the documentaries, and the majority of them referred to the organization as a cult. So if you guys have seen the documentaries, I think the Netflix one is the most popular one, then you would have definitely heard about it being a cult. I don't know yet. Like, I'm not 100% sure. If you haven't seen the documentaries and you want to watch them, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I watched all of them. I found the Netflix one a little bit drawn out, but the Amazon Prime one was okay. Hi, Simia. My comments on chat. Yes. Yes, they are on the screen. Hello. Okay, so like I said, these two are a married couple and they claim to be twin flames. Now, if you're wondering what that is, because I was also like, what is that? It's a concept that's kind of similar to soulmates, but basically what it is highly compatible romantic partners, okay? And the documentaries all show them, Jeff and Shalia, these two, as living like a really lavish and excessive lifestyle. So they have a lot of money, they have a lot of cars, they have all of that stuff. And what I heard them say quite a lot is that they live in twin flame union. So they say that they see the world differently to everyone else because of their relationship. They're in this twin flame what. So they say that that is actually the basis for all of their success. And that's why, I mean, they're not saying that they have so much money because they're on the internet exploiting people. They're saying that they have so much money because they have each other or they're in some kind of balance. I don't know. Okay. So they present themselves as the ideal that others should aspire to, and they insist that this holds some kind of a spiritual basis. So I think, you know, for those of you guys who know about this kind of stuff, you know that the concept of twin flames is a spiritual one. A lot of people would say that they've kind of abused this concept. I am inclined to agree. So they opened this organization to share, or some would say sell, their teachings, or some would say propaganda, and it's called Twin Flames Universe. It mostly operates online, and it operates on the premise that a person's life is insufficient if they haven't found their twin flame. So you guys can see how kind of dangerous that can be. And when we're trying to think about, is this or is this not a cult? Maybe that is something that kind of leans towards being a little culty. If you think about how they are sort of targeting people with like sort of pre-existing vulnerability, right? Because obviously this idea is going to affect people more if they're lonely. So they claim to offer a solution to this problem, which is pretty much like, I mean, I guess it's standard marketing, right? They highlight a problem and then tell you that they can fix it. So they kind of make it seem like your life is incomplete because you don't have your twin flame. And then from there, they say they have a solution, which is their organization, which can help you find your twin flame. And then like from that, this is apparently going to solve all of your problems so that you're going to fall into this kind of balance that they're in. And then you can have, you know, a lot of cars like that. The nails sound a little insane. Yeah, a little bit. And I mean, that is a culty thing as well, which you'll see later, the way they kind of do turn these relationships inward. So we'll get to it, but you know, what they seemed to be doing was telling people that they could find their twin flame and that, you know, it's going to be great. Like if there's someone you're interested in and you think they might be your twin flame, we're going to confirm it and we're going to give you all the steps. And what happened was a lot of those people didn't actually have success because the people they were going after weren't interested. some of them were actually getting into legal trouble. And that was the point where these two here, instead of being like normal people and being like, okay, well, it didn't work, we'll just open a health store. No, they actually made it that instead of helping you find your twin flame, they're going to give you your twin flame. And that's when it starts getting really culty, because then they start telling you who is your twin flame, and it's somebody in the organization, so they can rule out that issue of consent. So I agree with you, it's getting there. It is getting there. I feel like they target vulnerable people, then start manipulating people. Yeah, it is really culty. It is. It is. Although they're very offended by that description. I attached a video of theirs. I think it's called "We Are Not a Cult." I was just trying to be fair, like make sure that I put their response in. Anyway, okay, so they started with this Twin Flames universe stuff, and it was pretty standard. It was like spiritual matchmaking, pretty much, like kind of. And then from there, they kind of branched out into other responsibilities. So they started looking into things like health, well-being, wealth, and then eventually it got really out of hand, and they decided to start a religion. So that was like mainly the problem, because once they said that you need your twin flame to be successful in all spheres, then that twin flame impacted your whole life, right? And then from there, they were like, okay, well, you can't find your twin flame because you've got too much trauma. And then as soon as you need to clear trauma to find the love of your life who doesn't actually, want to be with you anyway, the pursuit of one's twin flame has no more boundaries. And from there, they can start doing whatever they want, which they did. And they opened this church, which, I mean, for people who just started off as like online matchmakers with a little bit of a spiritual theme, that's kind of out of hand. Hey, CJ. Thank you for listening. Travel safe. Okay. Okay, so like I was saying, they preside over other organizations, and they have one called the Mind Alignment Process, which is called MAP, and this claims to heal trauma. And like a real big issue with this is that none of the people in the organization are like therapists or psychotherapists or anything. So that came up in the documentaries a lot. So you can already see how irresponsible that is. They also promote these teachings that make use of something they call the mirror exercise, which I guess, like, if you guys like this topic, we can get into it. I found a couple of videos on it, but former members of the organization say that it's like self-abuse. So if you're unhappy about anything, you turn it back on yourself and you kind of make it your own fault. But then, of course, other people who are still in the organization say that it works. And there are still people who are there and say that they're happy. I guess it's fair to mention. Like I said, they operate mainly online, and they have some really, really expensive resources for sale. I think you can get like the whole package with all of their coaching and I don't know what else. Maybe like some textbooks or something for about, I think it's upwards of $8,000. It's a once-off payment, but still. Bearing in mind that a lot of people didn't actually get results. Okay. Okay, so further allegations of Twin Flames Universe was that they had a pyramid structure with Jeff and Shalia at the top of the pyramid, you know how it works, and all new people at the bottom, and they have to give half their earnings all the way up to the top. And that was getting really complicated. So there were allegations that the whole reason they started their church was to evade tax. And there's actually evidence of them talking about that in some of the videos in the documentaries. I think it's the Netflix one, but it might be all of them. It might be. Okay, so this person here, her name is Keely Griffin, and she used to be a very senior member of Twin Flames Universe, but she left. And when she left, she took their hard drives with her. And a lot of the content in the documentaries is from that, which she kind of gave out to the media. So there's recordings of a lot of meetings where you can see how Jeff and Shalia were behaving and how they were treating people. And okay, so numerous former members allege abuse, coercive control, financial and spiritual exploitation, and some even alleging at forced gender conversion. I'm not kidding. That is what they say was happening there. So they say that there were they claim that there were issues around gender, and they say that according to Jeff and Shalia, as described by former members, a twin flame union consists of a divine masculine and a divine feminine, and as human beings, you are either one or the other, right? And actually, if you go and look at the other channels that are teaching this stuff, that's not what they say. So I'm not sure if they're making this up or what's going on. If somebody knows, let me know, because from what I understand, and if you just Google it, it says that according to most teachings, people are a combination. So I don't know. The former members claim that Jeff and Shalia used this basis, which might not be true, of these spiritual concepts of masculine and feminine, and they used them to kind of alter concepts of male and female, which is a little bit terrifying. Former members allege that the Twin Flames Universe program wasn't actually yielding any results, and they claim that some clients were even getting into legal trouble. So I think some of them were actually getting stalkerish. I think the documentary also stated that they would isolate people from their families. No, yes, and I think the documentaries actually, or at least the Netflix one, starts that way, where they speak to somebody who hasn't heard from their relative in a while because their relative isolated them once joining. So again, that's pretty culty. That is bad. So what was I saying? Oh, yeah. Okay, so some of the members of the group were getting into legal trouble, and they were pursuing people, insisting that this person is the love of their life, but that person was like, I'm not, leave me alone. And they were being accused of harassment. They were actually stalking people, and it was all at the encouragement of these two, allegedly. So instead of, they didn't want Twin Flame Universe to look like a harassment training facility, which it actually was. And that's what I was talking about earlier, where they started pairing people up with other people inside the organization to resolve that annoying consent issue. Again, you could just be normal people and be like, the business didn't work. You don't have to get so radical. But so what issue is going to come up is that they have a lot more females than males. And this is where former members say that they felt pressured into changing their gender identity. And some took it as far as actually getting surgery. Okay, so there's an unlisted video from the Michigan Attorney General's office, and it does imply a formal investigation into Jeff and Shalia. And they've denied all allegations, and we're going to watch not a documentary, but an interview that contributed to the documentary where Jeff and Shalia respond and say that they are victims of cancel culture. Maybe they are. I don't think so, but we'll see. If anybody is comfortable enough to tell me if they're from Michigan, let me know. I'd like to know. I don't know a lot about it.
Hi, I'm Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel. Today, my office, along with local law enforcement, the Michigan State Police, and the U.S. Department of Labor Office of Inspector General, executed search warrants on 2 residences as part of our investigation into Twin Flames Universe. Twin Flames is a largely online organization with leaders based in Leelanau County, Michigan, that allegedly uses coercive control over its members, both in Michigan and across the United States. We believe that many of their actions may have been illegal, and we're asking for the general public's help in this investigation. Anyone with information about potential criminal conduct regarding Twin Flames Universe, its operators, Jeff and Shalia Devine, Christine and Jason Emmerich, its related organizations, including the Church of Union and the Mind Alignment Process, or their members, are encouraged to contact my office and may do so anonymously. A website has been set up with a tip form, mi.gov/agtfu, or you can email us directly at ag-tfuinfo@mi.gov. Thank you for your help.
Okay, so that video, for some reason, it's unlisted. I don't know why they have it as unlisted, so you need the link to watch it. So if you want to see it again, you have to go to the description of this video. Don't try and just search for it or anything like that. And then the details that you'll need if you do want to submit a tip are there. And, you know, if you want to submit a tip, please do. But this video it's fairly recent. It's from July, the 1st of July. So this is a development that's come out since the documentaries. And a lot of the content on these two, Jeff and Shalia, is actually, it's kind of old. So it seems like there might be something coming. I mean, if they're doing an investigation as early as, or as recently as July. Okay, so I'm going to go through this interview that they did with, does CTV stand for Canada TV? I think it does. Okay, and then obviously, as usual, for fair use, I'll have to pause it a lot and just say stuff. But I mean, with the way they behave in this interview, there's a lot to say. You will see.
Why did you feel that now was the right time to share your story?
Well, I feel that there wasn't really a time, like there wasn't really a space to share our story. So when we would poke our heads out, so to say, it was just outrage, outcry. Like, that's not a conversation. That's just being around a reaction. And so we just wanted to have time to let things kind of calm down and cool off, and you know, hopefully create a space where we could come out and speak, because we really did want to, but it seems that it just wasn't our time. It was the time of you know, the other side to share what they wanted to share.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys agree, but it's like, I don't know, I feel like there's a mismatch in the way that she's speaking, because she's like, the words that she's saying, she's talking like she's like the bigger person and very calm and we just wanted to leave it be. And that's also very much part of like the spiritual persona, right? But her expressions are actually pretty angry. Like she kind of looks snappy, even though she doesn't sound it. It's weird. It's like it doesn't match.
And for you though, like why now?
Same. I mean, that's our answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned last night feeling canceled.
Yeah.
Do you feel as though you both have been canceled?
Undoubtedly. I mean, this is a textbook example of cancel culture.
Explain that for me.
Well, you know, I think she's probably the better person to explain that. She's the one doing all the studying of it all. So.
Well,
I would be so mad at him. Like, he just throws it at her. He does that a lot. He'll be like, she studied it.
well, it's just that there was a reaction towards us, and it caught fire, and then it got shared all around the internet, and it got picked up, and then it just kept snowballing and snowballing, and to, you know, what we have now. And yeah, there just like wasn't an opportunity for us to like really share our side.
Jeff, what do you think the public's perception of you is, and where are they wrong?
I think they think I'm not a nice person and that I hurt people. And it could not be further from the truth.
The words that have been used to describe you are...
I don't know, like if anyone here has seen the documentary and you've seen how like abusive he is in the way that he speaks to people, and it's kind of ridiculous if you look at it now and it's all like they think I'm not a nice person and that I hurt people, but it couldn't be further from the truth. And I mean, like there's clips in the documentaries of him screaming at people because they're affecting his income and stuff like that. It feels a little combative. It is. And you know what? They did so badly in this whole interview, and they did it because they hired, as far as I understand, they hired like a PR company to help them. And this was one of the things that they apparently needed to do to like fix their reputation after all the documentaries. And honestly, it seems like they just weren't prepared. They weren't prepared for any tough questions. And they're not even hiding how angry they are. They're not.
narcissistic, coercive,
Yeah,
bully,
not true. Not true.
cult leader,
Yeah, not true.
and that you have destroyed people's lives.
Not true. Not true at all.
But so why are you the lightning rod for so much hate? Why is that?
I think because we love people.
It doesn't make sense, Jeff. The equation doesn't add up. People who love don't usually receive hate. I
That's
just don't.
not true. That's not true. Look at history.
Okay, tell me.
Well, I'm not the
Well, you look at, for instance, like a lot of like historical figures like Martin Luther King, like
She saves him quite a lot. Yeah, it's a little sad.
he loved, and he was loving not just the Black community, but loving the white community and loving the world. And he received a slew of hate, led to his assassination.
Mhm.
You know, or like, I don't know, like I grew up Catholic, so I think of Jesus, you know, like he was just loving everybody, even though it was difficult and they didn't always like what he had to say or do. It was extremely controversial back then, but he was loving them.
You have described yourself as the Master Christ.
Okay. Would you like to elaborate on what you'd like to,
Well, it's just you have described yourself as the Master Christ, right?
Right. Okay.
So what does that mean to you?
Yes, she did. She did. And then she went a step further and she went all the way to Jesus. Yeah. I know. And you can tell how much these people think of themselves.
It's a spiritual exploration. And, these docudramas and this cancel culture takes everything super out of context.
I also want to just point out that what he's talking about are not docudramas, because as far as I understand it, there's no like reenactments and stuff. The footage in there is of him, even though, okay, it was stolen and, it was his private meetings and stuff like that. And somebody has taken the recordings, but they're not docudramas. They're just docuseries because it's actual footage of him. So he's really trying to undermine it there.
Make it look like I'm some megalomaniac who's using these strange titles to claim power, or they say that I think I'm Jesus. And that's just so silly.
Do you believe that you have a direct line to God and that God tells you what's good for your followers, what's good for your community?
That's a silly misperception and a twisted way to present how we operate in a relationship with our students. So first of all, everyone has a direct line to God, and that's what we teach. And for us, God is love itself. And God is a loving, conscious being that created us. And we all have a direct line to God. We all know love in our hearts.
Again, that's not really the impression that he's giving in any of these documentaries.
We can all choose to follow the direction that love is leading us or not. And like if you're a parent, if your child is going to do something that's going to harm them, and you can direct them otherwise. Don't put your hand on that stove. And if you have a toddler, they wouldn't know any better. You have a more mature perspective in this area of life. And so you would lovingly direct them not to. And if they're just about to, you might yell, "Hey, don't do that." And, you probably.
Her face. I mean, I don't know if she's trying to hide it, but she's just looking at him like, okay.
I've seen me yelling at my students. It's not abuse, and no one at the time felt like it was abusive. And we had many dialogues along the way. Hey, let's talk about our teaching style. Everything was on the table for open discussion. No one had a problem with it. In fact, people felt really loved and cared for when I would yell at them in classes. They felt like someone cares about me enough to yell at me, because it's uncomfortable to yell at people. I don't want to do that if I don't have to, but I love these people. I want to see them grow. I want to see them thrive. And so I put myself on the line in order to be able to.
He was mean to them for their own good, even though he didn't want to be, and it really hurt him to do so. It is like a comedy special because I mean he's okay, so I think he started off by saying he's like a parent, implying that everybody in his organization is really stupid and that they touch hot plates if he doesn't stop them, because he has a lot of experience and he yells at people for their own good, even though it's uncomfortable for him. In fact, he's so kind, he's yelling at them because it makes them feel cared about when he yells.
To help people.
And yet, Jeff, the people who are no longer in the Twin Flames universe will describe their feelings towards that in a completely different way.
Of course.
That-
It's okay if I grab some water.
Oh,
real
for
quick?
sure, yeah.
Do you know what my Fiji was?
No, you may need to get a new one.
Okay, that's fine. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, he gets dry mouth and he talks a lot. I don't know if you want on your microphone.
The way he walks as well.
So, Jeff, you talk about yelling at people lets them know that you actually are showing them love.
No, but kind of.
Okay. But the people who are on the receiving end of that, who are
Sure.
no longer part of the community,
Okay.
felt bullied and manipulated and exploited by you. They felt like you really hurt them.
Yeah. We loved those people and we wish them well. We hope that they find the healing that they seek. And it's unfortunate that they couldn't, it's unfortunate that they didn't find that with us. And we did our very best to love them and serve them and support them with what they had asked us to support them with.
We gave them all our best yelling, and it wasn't good enough for them. It's their fault.
And we parted ways, and that's okay. We wish them well.
They don't feel well, though. They feel really damaged by their experience in the Twin Flames universe.
Okay. We did everything we could to love these people. They didn't come to us, without hurt, without upsets. And when you do the spiritual work, you become aware of your hurts.
So when we're looking at things that are a little bit culty, you'll hear, if you've watched the documentaries as well, is that they all have this word upsets. And I feel like it's intentional to minimize these really big issues, but everybody in the group uses it. It's almost like they have their own language for, you're having an upset, don't worry. And aside from just being patronizing, it's creepy that they have their own little code language.
They're often unconscious. So this spiritual process is one of working through layers of your consciousness.
Tell me about channeling, the channeling that you receive from God
Okay.
to decide who was each other's twin flame.
Right. I just don't like the framing here. Like it doesn't line up with what our reality is.
Why does that bother you so much?
Well, there's this perception is that I'm not a nice person, and I feel like I'm being thrown in with a whole other mindset of not nice people who do not nice things to people, and it's just simply not us. It's not what we do. So what you're addressing is, people say that.
I'm not actually sure what, like, maybe he's been compared to cult leaders, and that's why he's saying that, because that just sounds weird. He's saying he's been like thrown into a category with people who are not nice people. I'm guessing that maybe because I'm new to this, but I know that there's quite a lot of people on YouTube who have been talking about this. So maybe people have done like comparisons where they're comparing him to cult leaders, stuff like that, and that's why he's saying that, because it did seem weird. But I mean, for the most part, he wants to be compared to people like Jesus and not cult leaders, and he's sort of verging on a tantrum because people are calling him out.
We tell people who their twin flame is, but it's a spiritual path that you have to take on your own. Like, you have to walk your path, and we know the path quite well. We're experts in our field. We've seen this happen many times.
Another thing, they are not experts in their field. If you type their name into Google Scholar, all you get is stuff about cults. Like, they haven't published anything. They're not leaders in any school of thought. They are not experts in their field. They are experts in selling their courses. That's it. Like, I want to make that really clear, because academically, at least, no, definitely not. Spiritually, probably not either.
It happened in our own life. You can see when something is coming up on someone's spiritual horizon, and we'll point that out. Hey, we invite you to explore. We don't make twin flames.
But there were two rounds. There were two specific rounds where people were told, you two are together, you two are together.
No, it's not like that. There's nuance to this. And we live in that fine nuance. We operate there as a community in the spiritual teaching. It's not so black and white as, you're being match made. As I just said, it's an invitation to explore.
Are you denying?
Just so you know, by the end of this interview, an invitation to explore is going to be stuck in your head. They say it a lot.
That there were these two rounds of suggestions from the two of you on who each other's twin flame was?
They're not denying that there was an invitation to explore.
He does, doesn't he? I mean, he's much more gross, but yeah, he does. He does. It's kind of tough since cults isolate people from loved ones, exasperate individual insecurities, and create their own conform. Yeah, and I think from that perspective, like, there's definitely something culty going on, like, for sure. And if we think about the investigation, it's interesting that the Department of Labor is involved, because if you look at the documentaries, it seems like he has a whole lot of people. Previously, they used to be in his home. I don't think that they still are. I should say there, because a lot of people just make it about him, but I think that Shalia is also just as much part of the problem. They have people in their homes, and those people are like doing their chores, looking after their kid, all kinds of stuff. So I'm really curious. Like, I'd like to know from a legal perspective what brought in the Department of Labor into this investigation.
But you have to take the journey for yourself. If I said to you, you might like this veggie burger, it's up to you to try to eat it or not.
Except if you're feeling so much that there's a requirement to please the two people who have become so important in your community. And then the choice might not be there as clearly.
We don't encourage that kind of power dynamic.
Yeah.
You don't?
No.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're their guru, right? Your words have weight.
They do.
Yeah.
You look dubious.
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
But you seem super defensive.
He has such a temper. Like, it looks like it's taking everything in him right now to be calm. Like, I cannot imagine what he's actually really like.
I feel that the framing is unfair.
I'm asking you questions based on what's out there from your own videos, on
But
your own
it's
videos.
taken out of context.
Then how do you explain how harmed people feel? I mean, there are people who, I think you've called them your hate squad. There are people who feel as though you tried to tell them that they were in the wrong gender, that they needed to change gender. Not one, not two, but a number of people.
Sure, I'm happy to address, these concerns. We are
A rehearsed speech there. But also, like, I mean, I don't know, to be somewhat balanced. I mean, there were people who, I guess, at some point, probably around the point of being told they were the wrong gender, they did leave the group. So, like, where is the responsibility as well on the people who were like, oh, Jeff and Shalia want me to be a man, I think I'll just do that. Like, is there some responsibility on them as well? Because that's kind of ridiculous as well. Or am I not being fair? Like, is a person in a cult so vulnerable that they'll do anything?
are very gentle about this subject because it's incredibly personal. We do not force gender change. We never have.
Mhm.
We invite people to explore their gender polarity and see what try it on, see what that is like for you.
In the Twin Flame community at large, not just Twin Flames universe, there's this belief that in a twin flame union, there's a divine feminine and there's a divine masculine polarity. And that polarity is what creates attraction. And so that's what we have found to be true for us and for many others. And so we invite people to explore that. I feel like that's an important part of a person's spiritual journey, is finding out, their sexuality, finding out their gender. I did it, when I was a teenager. I did it when I was in college. And I
Did what?
Oh, I explored my gender and my sexuality as a teenager. And even as a young girl, I knew I was attracted to the masculine. And I felt very strongly, probably in a male body. And then in college, I thought, well, I know I like the masculine energy. It could be in a woman. And so I experimented there, and I felt like, I don't know. I think maybe, maybe masculine in a male body. That's probably my polarity.
Except your concept, the way I've seen it, is that a divine masculine cannot be in a feminine body, that body has to change to a man.
Not true. Mm-mm.
Okay, so that's one of the things that I was talking about in the beginning. Like, what she's saying, I think it's actually just nonsense. Like, I don't think that's how she's talking about this twin flame community. I don't actually think that's what they believe. I think it's almost the opposite of what they believe, I think. And I mean, just explaining what she did in college, I mean, look, I think that for the most part, she's just talking nonsense. Like, she doesn't know what else to say.
Really?
That's correct.
So you've never suggested that somebody was in the wrong body, that they were actually a divine masculine and not a divine feminine?
So we invite people to explore
Oh my
their
God.
gender polarity.
Stop it.
But Jeff, if you have an element of control over them or sway over them,
Okay.
and they hear you say that, and they know that it will please you,
That's
to
not the
adopt that.
relationship. That's not the relationship we invite. We're not inviting people to please us. We're inviting people to explore their spirituality, to look within themselves, to have their own personal relationship with God. It's not about me. It's never been about me. I don't want it to be about me.
A cynic would say, you've got a business model, and the business model relies on twin flames being found. And you guys made a decision that, we've only got women. The vast majority of people who are following us are women. We need to make some of them kind of like puppet masters, men. And then we're going to tell those people are going to be their twin flames, and they must maintain that twin flame in order to continue showing the world that this twin flame works.
So he's about to like absolutely deny it and that it's just horrendous. But I think that is actually what happened. And I don't know, it's like the most messed up thing I've ever heard. Like I said in the beginning, if your business model doesn't work, just do something else. Don't like start changing people's gender to make it work.
A lot like a conspiracy theory. That's a lot of stretching going on
Well,
here.
where's the stretching, Jeff?
Could you clarify what you're asking?
Yeah, but you said that there's a lot of stretching there.
Well, you have this very stretched out, tall tale about what a cynic supposes that we do here, but it's just not true.
But so what part of that was stretching? Because most of the people that were in your community are women, correct?
Yep.
Most women, interested in relationships. That's, yeah.
And
Sorry,
you but
another drink of water.
okay, sure.
Can he put his water there?
Yeah, keep
Is
it right
in
there.
the
That's
shot?
fine,
on
Jeff.
camera?
No, it's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, she really is stretching his patience. And I have to say, like, this interview is amazing. Like, oh gosh, I don't know if I would have been able to tolerate all of this. Like, to this point, we're still under halfway through, and she's really coping, and he's like squirming and touching his hair, and like, his hair's gonna get even greasier, and now he needs water again. She's really good. She's handling it really well. Yeah, every time he gets up, I know. And he does that walk.
Sure.
It gets dry in winter, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But most of your community is women. And the premise of the Twin Flames universe is, amongst other things, that you're going to find your twin flame through the help of the spiritual work that you do and through you.
Sure.
So you've got a bit of a business problem if all of your followers are straight women.
Not true.
No,
That's not our business model.
no.
Our business model is, as I said, it's to help you look within yourself and love yourself. And that produces profound effects.
How many of your followers or how many people in your community have transitioned?
I don't know, a dozen maybe.
And
That's
how
a
many
lot.
of them have
That's
transitioned
not
with
actually
the
normal.
suggestions from you or as part of the exploration with you?
In the beginning, there were quite a few. And that's, many of them.
I think from what, a lot of them have shared that they were feeling this way, like even prior to meeting us. Like,
Some of them broke down and cried when they got the news from you that they were actually divine masculines, even though they were women.
So it's not the correct framing. It's an invitation to explore your gender polarity.
People who are no longer part of your community have said that they were told by you that they were a different gender. Are you saying that they misinterpreted what you were saying, or are you saying that I'm framing it in the wrong way?
I'm saying and telling you what we do in these circumstances.
But it matters what they hear. So it's what you're putting out maybe is different from what they're hearing. And I'm just trying to figure out if that's...
Well, there's an ongoing dialogue, and we are responsible for our part of the relationship. I can't possibly be responsible for someone else's part of a relationship.
But if you tell somebody that they're the wrong gender, if they...
That's the thing. Like, he's saying that he can't be responsible for their part of the relationship. But I mean, he's also like, he's making it sound like this is an even dynamic, but he is the leader of the group. So I guess like he does hold a lot of weight in what they do, especially with all of the promises that he's been making about changing their lives, and this person is going to fall in love with you now, and that kind of thing. It's not fair to say, what they do is not my fault when he's essentially the spiritual leader here.
Hear that.
Mhm.
So you have former followers who believed that you told them that they needed to change their gender.
It's just, it's not fair because the spirit of the community and the culture of the community is one of openness and dialogue and exploration and support, not this fearful, put you into the corner, you have to do this. It's just not true.
But I'm not getting, I don't feel like I'm getting an answer to that.
Okay.
I just don't feel like I'm getting an answer to that. I mean, there are people in your community who paint you both as puppet masters, as cult leaders, who have a level of control over people who are very vulnerable, and that you're abusing that control. And you're telling them what gender they are because it fits into your business model.
We've again, we are here lovingly supporting people on their spiritual journey. We are not puppet masters. We are
Earlier he was yelling.
Over exercising our control to get people.
Like earlier on, he was already saying that he was yelling at people, and that doesn't fit very well with what he's saying now. That he's lovingly inviting people to explore whatever.
To do things that we want them to do. This is difficult work.
Yeah, it was just an invitation to explore. And they were with us at the time when, we were their direct guide, and we invited them to explore, and they could chose not to do it or not to,
I guess they felt so invested in the community and felt so responsible for pleasing you both and listening to your words, that if they didn't follow what you suggested, they would no longer be part of the community. And they were terrified of that because it had become their everything.
Yeah, we have enormous compassion for that. That's
No,
not.
but what's your responsibility in that as opposed to your compassion for it?
Well, as I said, I have enormous compassion for that. If that was their experience, that's not what we aim to do. And there was never any opportunity for us to be able to address that if they were having that experience. Lots of upsets and difficult challenges come up along the way. And if you stop doing the spiritual work, one might get stuck in that upset and loop it in their mind. So it's hard to see, that people had a negative experience with Twin Flames Universe and with us. And, we did our best to love them. We wish them well. We hope they find, the help that they seek. But once again, this is online. You can just close your browser.
Do you take any responsibility for the impact that the Twin Flames universe has had on some of the followers? You've obviously had time to reflect on the allegations against you.
Sure.
Yeah.
So one thing that we got wrong was that we believed once you attained harmonious union, you found that oneness with your twin flame, your person, that you would never want to leave, that you would find that relationship to be so fulfilling and so wonderful and so beautiful that you would work through what arises in the relationship to keep it. So at first we called it permanent harmonious union. And we thought that once you arrived at that place, that you just stay there. But that didn't end up.
So is he basically saying he did what he was supposed to do, but the people that, were receiving this service didn't want it anymore? Is that what he's saying? It's not his fault. They just weren't happy with finding the love of their life or something? I don't know.
Being the case. And, it was a little altruism from young people who found true love themselves, that it would just be exactly as beautiful for everyone else that it was for us. But the reality was that everyone has a unique case and their challenges were different. And some people found that, I really don't want this. And that's okay. They move on with their lives. And some people found, well, this is too hard. This is too close. I need to take a step back and work on myself, and that's okay. They can do that too. Everyone gets to take it at their own pace.
But what about connecting people within the community, young women with people who have criminal records, and them being in situations that are dangerous, and them always having to reflect back on what they're doing wrong to not make this violent relationship work?
Yeah, so there's a lot going on here that's not really in our control. We're not encouraging people to get into relationships with violent people. That's not the frame here.
And what about the allegation that your teachings validate on some level rape?
That's absurd. I'm sorry. That's absolutely absurd.
That's the thing, like they're acting really surprised about that, but they've clearly at least heard what's in the documentaries. I think because I subscribe to their channel, and the link to their channel is in the description box. I'm being fair, it's there. Along with the video of their side of the story, their side of all of this. But I think that I've heard them say, that they haven't watched the documentaries necessarily, but people who've watched them, followers of theirs, have told them what's in it. So for them to be like, oh my goodness, like they should have at least heard that allegation. Like somebody's mentioned it to them by now. They're not being sincere.
But if you're with your twin flame.
No, I'm sorry. I'm going to stop you there. There's absolutely no validity to that in any way. We strongly encourage people to respect people's boundaries. We have an enormous respect for people and their sexuality, and we would never, ever encourage anything remotely close to that.
Yeah, that's really vile.
The idea that a twin flame union has a divine masculine and a divine feminine,
Sure.
and that the divine masculine should be able to have sex every day.
It's a consensual journey. I mean, like that's common sense with sex.
So, like the way that this is gonna go, it's a little bit like it's okay. We'll trigger warning as well. Shalia's pants match her chairs, though, do they? I'm gonna have to go back. Hey Heather, with the way that this is going, you can see that Shalia gets kind of uncomfortable with this topic. So, like, I don't know what's been discussed between them, but it is a little sad to see how she gets like it's not something she really wants to talk about. I need to check if her chairs really match.
You have to be, both parties have to be willing and choose that.
He hasn't cried yet.
During...
He hasn't cried yet. You are on time for the crying. It's the worst crying I've ever seen.
You know, the intercourse process, one party says, slow down, stop, I'm not comfortable. You should honor that.
Because there's kind of a back and forth on a video with you where you're explaining that Shalia didn't want to have sex, but in a twin flame union, if one person does, then the other one sort of naturally does.
I'll let Shalia answer the question.
Sorry, so can you...
That is so horrible, the way he keeps doing that to her. He's like, does he cry holy water? I wish he would so that he could wash his hair. His hair irritates me so much. It's so crazy.
One party says, slow down, stop, I'm not comfortable. You should honor that.
Because there's kind of a back and forth on a video with you where you're explaining that Shalia didn't want to have sex, but in a twin flame union, if one person does, then the other one sort of naturally does.
I'll let Shalia answer the question.
Sorry, so can you repeat that again?
If there is a twin flame union,
Yeah.
and one person in the twin flame wants to have sex, then by nature of the mirrored of the two of them,
Okay.
then the other but one does as well.
Yeah, yeah, it's very nuanced because, you know, I feel very like we're in a very like intimate relationship. And so I have found that sometimes like like if I didn't want to, but actually like I did, like he
This
can
part
kind of
is
see
sad.
that.
This part is
And
really sad.
like it's very healthy for us to have sex, and it's always consensual, and like at the end of the day, like if it's a no, like it's a no, I don't want to. But like I have definitely, because we've been together so long, we're so intimate, like I've come to trust him, and I know when he's saying like, maybe we should.
And it goes both ways too.
It goes both ways, because
Both ways.
sometimes like I'm the one that's like, hey.
I'm like, no, I don't want to. No,
You
no. And she's
know.
like, come on, And
Yeah.
often, it's true. Like, it ended up being that it was better that we did. And we
It
were
was
both
better
happy in
that
the
we
end.
did in the end.
And sometimes, it wasn't the case. And I say, firm no. And she respects that. And
Yeah.
that's what we have in our relationship. And that's what we teach, toward in our community.
Yeah.
And do you think?
David, can I just stop you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly why I feel like this part of the interview is like huge trigger warning, because it feels like there's something going on there. Like there is an issue there. And I know that he thinks he's being really cute and he's all like, sometimes I'm the victim of it. Like, no, I think we've already seen like the extent to which he does have a temper. Like it leaks out a little bit. So obviously I'm just speculating. Like everything in this video is just me speculating, but I kind of do wonder what goes on there. Heather says, I think that this interview was actually 2 hours. Oh, no, okay, yeah, I haven't seen that. I should look for that. Because I did notice that there were some cuts in this one. How long is this video? Yeah, this video is under an hour. There's a really good documentary that this was made for as well. And I think she interviews some other members of the group, another couple.
Can I have your water briefly? Yeah. I might be blushing a bit.
Yeah. What's your definition?
CJ, I know. Hey. Yeah, I feel bad though. Like, I mean, she's a cult leader too, but just at that point, I feel bad. I really do.
Of a cult.
Hold on, can you ask her again? Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Watch your
Hold on a
beers.
second.
Definition of a cult.
Yeah. What's your definition of a cult?
So, as far as I understand, there's not a agreed upon specific definition of a cult.
Glad you did though.
What my personal definition of a cult is a harmful organization, a group that extracts the well-being of its members in exchange.
Did you hear that? He's like, we're not a cult. I don't even think about cults, but this is my personal definition of a cult that I came up with. It's the Jeff definition. I have massively binged the Twin Flame. Oh yes, I know, and they put that in everything.
For a delusion, and doesn't let them go. And I can see why, like, how easy a target Twin Flames universe can be for that, because Twin Flames seems like such a fantastical idea. Like,
Right.
you have an ultimate lover. You have someone who's perfectly designed for you, that completes you in every way, that grows with you, that is your eternal complement. It is a divine, extraordinary concept.
Oh my God.
And I can see how people would be skeptical of such a concept.
But so that's like, are you guys cult leaders?
No.
No.
And a cult, like your description of a cult is extracting and with keeping people, extracting and keeping to their
Extracting their well-being
extracting their well-being.
for egoic
Again, I don't know anything about cults, but don't get my definition wrong, please.
purposes. And, for a delusion, to feed a lie, to feed a delusion. and not letting them leave, like turning them into some sort of farm, like the Matrix or something, a little mini version of the Matrix, or I don't know, I guess cults can be bigger, I'm not sure.
That was really not a good thing to say, because I think at some point they were trying to get a farm. I don't know if they did it, or Heather, do you know it? Like, did they actually go through with getting that farm that they were all going to live on? Or are they still planning it? I don't know.
But yeah, we're not that. We help people.
Yeah.
People are free to come and go as they please. It's as simple as clicking the X on your browser and never engaging again.
Yeah.
And does that, you say yes, what's your take on that?
Well, we don't harm people. And
But people who've had, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you say you don't harm people, and yet we've heard.
They had another child. So for people who don't know the story, I think that there was a pregnancy that for some reason got terminated, and then they had a child afterwards, I think called Grace. Is that another child since then, Heather?
Heard from people who really do feel as though they've been harmed by you psychologically. We see people who are still in your community who have undergone surgeries and hormone therapies to change their gender.
You're going to get an opportunity to talk to Adam and Brianne soon and hear their story and hear from their perspective, how they feel about this. You can talk to them and ask them how they feel.
But on the outside looking in, that sounds like harm to me.
okay. Yeah, I don't agree with that. I feel that everyone has like their own spiritual journey, and they have a choice to agree or disagree, to go down that path or not.
And so you absolutely deny ever telling somebody that they were a divine masculine when they were a woman.
We encourage people to explore.
No, but you've never said to somebody you're a divine masculine.
We encourage people to explore. So you're communicating more than just your words. And I hesitate to answer that question in the way that I'm feeling led to answer that question, which is yes or no. But the reality
It
is,
kind of is a yes or no, Jeff. Like it
there's
kind of is.
there's context here.
He's getting a little tantrumy again. He's saying it's not fair. That's the thing. I really do wonder what he expected, though, from this interview, because obviously she was going to ask these things. Like, it's really obvious. And he's really upset. And he keeps saying that this is the wrong framing. So, I don't know.
The answer to your question is we encourage people to explore
gotten water
their
twice.
spiritual, their inner world. And it's just an invitation to explore.
But so then that's an easy no to the question, have you ever told anybody that they are a divine masculine?
Well,
it's not a trick question.
There's thousands of hours of content. And so like you might find somewhere in there something looking like me saying that.
There are a number of people who have said that they were told not only who their twin flame was within the community, but that they were the wrong gender. And it kind of is a yes or no answer.
We operate in a very particular way. And the way that we operate is what we've been communicating the entire time. And there's nothing nefarious about how we operate, and it generates profound positive results in people's lives, and it doesn't harm anyone. And so when you're asking these questions, it's from a particular context. And that context simply does not fit the context that we teach in, that we live in, that we help people with.
Except in the concerns about Twin Flames Universe, one of the biggest, most harmful allegations is that you are dictating people's gender and that they are taking it to extreme lengths, including having surgeries and hormone therapies and changing their gender.
Well,
and so I think it's a fair question.
Of course.
That's a yes or a no, and there's not really a ton of nuance in it.
Great.
So is it a yes or a no? Have you told people to change genders?
That's the thing. Like, he gives this whole definition of a cult, right? And he ticks every single box, and then he keeps like reiterating, but people can leave, so we're not a cult. Like, okay. So you have your own definition, and everything about it is actually you. But because people can just close their browser, we're not a cult.
We've invited people to explore their gender.
So you want to stay with that?
That is the truth. That is the whole truth. That's nothing but the truth.
Okay. And that invitation to explore
She's
gender
like, okay.
comes from God?
No, it comes from a human talking to a human.
No, but
Like-
do you get the message from God that someone is in the wrong gender?
If you could give me a moment to collect myself.
Oh, this is where he cries. I think. And I love how she's looking at Shalia like, does this happen often? Like, what's happening? What are we doing now?
Talking to a human.
No, but
Like-
do you get the message from God that someone is in the wrong gender?
If you could give me a moment to collect myself. Thank you.
It's here to breathe.
God is a loving being. God wants the best for us. I am not God. I have never claimed to be God.
No, I'm not saying that, Jeff. I'm
Hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
I've never claimed to be God. I teach people how to have a relationship with God. And God is love. And God is found in your heart. God is found in the love in your heart. And when you have a relationship with the love in your heart, it has a profound transformative impact on your life.
So my question was, do you get a message from God about somebody's gender? Do
It
you
doesn't work that way, no.
There's no channeling from God about what someone's gender should be?
So we as professionals,
Okay. CJ, you have to, like, when you get a chance, go back and watch when he's getting water, because he like catwalks back and forth from the kitchen in these, I don't know, clanky boots. It's so irritating. And he does the hair flick and everything. You need to go and see that later.
in our work, get intuitive hits, you might say. Hey, this might be a good idea. It's explorative. Like this heavy frame is just not the reality.
But Jeff, it's a heavy consequence to have kind of a whim that someone might be a different gender.
It's not a whim.
But what did you just describe it as?
So we talk about having an intuitive, experience. Hey, maybe explore this. Hey, that might be fun. It's innocent. It's from a creative place. It's from a light place. And we explore these difficult, heavy spiritual concepts, but it's done with lightness. And you're going to go through on the spiritual journey difficult things. We're going to navigate really uncomfortable situations together. And that's what we do.
Yeah, really uncomfortable situations of him being like, hey, you're actually a man. That's uncomfortable. But they navigate it together.
And that's what our spiritual community supports.
But you see what I'm saying about you getting an intuition of someone's gender, and then the consequence of them hearing that.
Right, I get how this all looks, but it's just not true.
Yeah, I agree with them. It's just
I'm
the
sure you do.
framing of it is just, yeah.
It feels unfair to you.
Yeah.
What are the different businesses that are in the Twin Flames universe umbrella?
I mean, we're here to talk about Twin Flames.
But that's part of it, right?
What are you here to talk about? Like, I'm not trying to be evasive here, but like, you're starting to get into a whole lot more subject.
What stops this from being a pyramid scheme?
I mean, it's not. Can you define what a pyramid scheme is?
Well,
Please do.
the structure seems to be
You
that
do that.
there is wealth at the top and that anyone's wealth below is reliant on bringing in more people below that.
Yeah, it's
below
just not
that.
true.
But on this concept of a pyramid scheme or multi-level marketing,
Mhm.
that people are constantly having to pay thousands and thousands of dollars to get the training,
Okay.
and that the only way that they can make money back is by bringing in new people. That it's kind of this pyramid.
I mean, that's
I also want to point out that if I'm remembering correctly, Jeff and Shalia, who are at the top of the not pyramid, take half of everybody's earnings. I think, yeah. So, yeah, pyramiding.
it's an unfair assessment to say that we're a pyramid scheme. We're not. Many businesses function just like this. It's not uncommon.
Like, well, pyramid, that's the definition of a pyramid scheme seems to be what's happening with the Twin Flames universe when it
Yes,
comes to
absolutely.
coaching and master classes, master coaches versus, right? I mean, do you know what I'm
we're
saying?
here to serve, so when you look at how to make money, it's very simple. You have value, and that value has to exchange from one party to another. And we teach how to create value and to share it with other people. And so one of the things that Twin Flames Universe does is it offers extensive training to certify coaches to be able to serve other people on their Twin Flame journey.
Certified by whom?
Well, by our spiritual community. There's extensive training that they have to undergo. We are the
Yeah, that's true too.
But training developed by
Yeah, like they were going to admit it. Absolutely. Like she's going to be, are you a pyramid scheme? He's going to be like, well, yeah. Sounds like they are.
by whom?
right by our spiritual community and by this teaching. We're the thought leader on Twin Flames.
But and this is one of the allegations against you, that you are wholly unprepared and untrained and
No, it's silly.
unskilled to deal with people who are vulnerable, who are coming to you in a vulnerable state.
So we love people, but if they're having mental health issues, that's outside of our scope. Or if they're having a medical issue, that's outside of our scope. And we regularly refer.
Everything is outside of your scope. Let me just see. Have you seen their video when they talk about the first time? I haven't seen that. Is that on their YouTube? I've watched a little bit of their videos, but I mean, as much as I could handle. That sounds pretty terrible, or
People to, Western medicine, to doctors, to their doctor. If they're having an emergency to go to the ER.
You're treating PTSD. I mean, that's a
I'm
serious.
not treating PTSD, absolutely not. We are healing trauma and addressing trauma, and that can result
I'm not treating PTSD, but I'm healing trauma.
in people's PTSD symptoms going away.
And did you guys set up the church specifically
They are way
to
out there.
avoid taxes?
That's
No.
so silly. We're the church's largest donor. It's designed to support the spiritual community and the spiritual teaching.
So there was no decision or no discussion, videotape discussion or email discussion about how to avoid paying taxes?
I
and
mean,
setting up a church?
in business, it's very normal to minimize.
Okay, I don't know. I've seen that video. I can't remember which documentary it's in, where he's literally saying, I don't want to pay tax, so we're going to start a church. I've seen it. I'm sure you guys have as well if you've seen the documentary. Again, there's about 3 of them. The Netflix one is not my favorite. The Amazon Prime one is a little bit less drawn out. Let me see. And I don't want to like undermine what Netflix wanted to put in the documentary, but I just found the Amazon Prime one a little more concise.
Your tax burden. That's a very that's standard. It's that's basic. Why would you pay more taxes than you are supposed to? We've always ensured we pay our fair share of taxes. You can't avoid the tax person. There's no way around that. And if there is, that's so far beyond us, and we don't have time to deal with that. We just pay our taxes and go on about serving people.
Because in your church filings, it's things like $40,000 for PR. Sorry, Nick, if he finds out that we know how much he's being paid, but there are PR
Sure.
fees in your church filings.
Okay.
Well, how,
I think watching more of them would give me PTSD. Yeah, can you imagine? I mean, it's true though. People who've left the group say that they left with a lot more trauma than they went in with. So treating PTSD. They definitely said we're gonna be a religion now. Yeah, I remember, and I remember how excited he was about it, and he was like so impressed with himself. We're gonna start a religion.
how does that get explained?
I mean, our whole community came together to pay that. Like we're all
Our whole
paying
community
to support.
is impacted by what happened. It didn't just happen to Jeff and I, it happened to everyone that's in our community. And so we all collectively came together and asked for the support that we needed
Financial support.
Sure.
for
And-
PR.
Yeah, for PR.
and,
Yeah.
Because
It happens to
you
everyone.
can't navigate, this kind of situation alone. And I don't think it's fair to say we shouldn't have support navigating this.
But why would that come out of the church?
It comes out of the whole community of which we are a part and of which we contribute to the largest amount.
Yeah.
What
By a
about
church.
golden children?
Another passing idea.
Yeah, it was a passing idea, just a thought, just
Mhm.
playing around with an idea.
It was a silly idea. And we explored it for a very short period of time and moved on.
Do you think that it's possible that you will one day see inviting people to explore the divine masculinity and the divine femininity as a silly idea that you should move away from, that doesn't really be
Yeah.
part of your...
Yeah, any of it. There's no sacred cows here. Like even the twin flame concept, like it's okay if it's misproven. I didn't come into this from a spiritual perspective. I grew up Catholic, and I left the religion in the church because of their stance on gay marriage. I felt that if two people loved each other, they should. Sorry, I'm very passionate about this. They should be allowed to get married. And it was so painful to leave my church and my religion because of a disagreement. But I knew what was in my heart, and I followed that with courage, and it led me to a new path. And that new path is beautiful for me.
Why does that make you so sad?
I loved the Catholic Church. I have so much love for Jesus. And it was so hard for me to leave that all behind and follow my truth. But it was the right thing to do.
But Jeff, why is this making you so upset?
I loved my church.
But your church didn't have you still could be a part of that church.
No, I didn't agree with its fundamental principles. How could I be a part of something that I don't agree with? And it's okay. Like, I'm not mad at the church. It has its, the Catholic Church. It has its viewpoint, and I respect it. And I respect why it feels that way. And it led me to exploring different spiritualities, and it was beautiful. It's been nothing but beautiful for my life. But I can't deny how hard it's been. And it led me to this idea about masculine and feminine, that there is a way that everyone wins, that the LGBTQ plus community can win and have agreement here with these traditional views that it's only a man and a woman.
What kind of investigations are being launched against you both and Twin Flames Universe right now?
Okay, so that was the crying. I think he'll cry again. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think he does. He'll cry again because of how much he loves Jesus or something. But I didn't want to interrupt him through that performance. But also, did you guys see Shalia's face? She's actually embarrassed. She's just trying to get through it. Let's just get through this. He's crying now. Self-explanatory. That was bullshit. I don't know. Yeah. You guys know.
Yeah, none.
There's none that, yeah, there's none. Yeah, I think there, there were detectives that came to our door in Farmington Hills, but they found nothing, and we answered them honestly, or I think you did.
She had just gotten surgery.
I just had dental
she literally
surgery
came
that
back
morning.
from surgery, and she's sitting in the chair, not 30 minutes coming back from this, pretty intense surgery, and there's detectives at my door.
Yeah.
Well, there was an article.
Oh,
Can we come and talk to you?
my
We're like, yeah, come on in. I got nothing to hide.
Yeah.
And
IRS?
No.
never. Like I said, we pay our taxes. Like
Mhm.
I have a business degree. Like I'm very respectful of the IRS. I know what they can do to you. I'm not here to try to mess with those people. Like we have accountants and we have attorneys, and they look through all of our things and our books, and they make sure that we're not even in the gray area with these things. We're very much very well within all laws and all legality.
And can you tell me a little bit about Grace?
Yeah.
And where does she fit into the twin flames of you two?
She's more like a monastic soul. That's how we've always felt her as, and that's
Just in case anyone doesn't know, she's talking about Grace. That's their daughter. I think at the time of this interview, she was about 2. Their daughter was. Do they think the IRS would let them know they're being investigated? I don't know, but I mean, they feel comfortable saying no, but I don't know. I do not know.
what our logic and our intuition has led us to believe. But I'm still going to teach her about, sex and sexuality. And
What does that mean, a monastic soul?
someone who is whose life path is dedicated to God as their love or lover alone.
So celibate, sorry.
Yeah.
Like
Also,
a nun or a monk.
Like a nun.
Like a nun or a monk.
You guys are on a journey that people.
She's 2. What are they talking about? Like, that is so controlling. I mean, what if she grows up and she just doesn't want anything to do with Twin Flames universe, or like, maybe she wants to go back to the Catholic Church. Like, what are they talking about?
People are watching and following very closely because they believe in you.
Yeah.
And you're experimenting with things that
They know that we're experimenting.
They
and
know we're
exploring.
experimenting. Yeah, trust me, people have a mind of their own in our spiritual community, and
Very much so.
they don't always listen to us, and that's okay. I don't really care. It's your life.
What's the future for you guys? Is this all going to come crashing down?
No, I think if anything, we're only going to continue to thrive and be a shining light on the world, because I feel very strongly that we have something that's critically important to the world, and it's love. And it's the type of love that everyone desires, or most people desire and yearn for, and that it's here. It's a very practical spirituality.
It's kind of interesting how she said everybody and then corrected herself to say, well, most people, because they're trying to get away from this image that they have, or that everyone has of them, where they're matchmakers and they're controlling and they're culty. And she's trying to be careful what she says. But I mean, again, who are they to say what everyone wants? That is the premise of their whole thing, is to make it seem like not having your twin flame means that there's something wrong, so that they can offer some kind of a solution to that problem.
That you can apply in your daily life all the time, and it will bring you closer and closer to the divine, and just have amazing positive effects on your life.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you getting all misty-eyed?
Oh, I'm thinking about Jesus. Sorry, we go back to the other part of just thinking about, because it's very healing to address that, to talk about, why I left the Catholic Church and my views on the LGBTQ plus community, and, my love for Jesus. So just thinking about that.
are victims, they're not victims and they're not brainwashed. They're very smart people and they can choose to be with Twin Flames Universe or not be with Twin Flames Universe. And, you know, the love and support is quite overwhelming. Like, they love it. They love the work. And they're here because they know that what they receive just benefits their life, like, completely.
And, you know, there are people who have been in the Twin Flames universe for a long time and the promises have not come true yet. When do you realize maybe we don't have the answer for everybody?
I mean, we don't have the answer for everybody, you know. There's God in everything. There's truth in everything. Everyone has their own path. This is not, you know, the end of all other paths. This is just one good path that works for us and works for those who are interested in trying it out for themselves.
But it kind of messes up the business model, right? If people don't get all that you've promised in the wealth, the love, the twin flame.
I mean, it's a spiritual process. And when you work the spiritual process, your life improves. That's what we have found to be true. But it's an individual journey. Everyone has to take it at their own pace. That's like right for them and compassionate for them.
And how is your relationship?
It's really good.
So good.
Yeah, we're very happy. We're very in love. So I start to cry. Yeah. It's very it's very.
That's not why she's crying. I would cry too if yeah. Never mind.
Sacred to us. It's like our altar. And yeah, I love Jeff with my whole heart, and I'll be with him forever. I've never been so happy in my entire life.
But the business doesn't continue without that love for each other, right? It's
I
all
don't know.
built on your twin flame union.
Yeah, our whole life is. And that's built on our relationship with God.
Yeah.
So I would rather not be in a world without God. If God isn't real, then take me away. I don't want any part of that. I believe God is real, and I built everything on him.
Well, some of them have been with you for a really long time, and obviously they don't have the wealth that you have, and they don't have the twin flame that you have.
I mean, everyone's got their own personal
They
journey.
got their own twin flame. They have their own journey. Not everyone really wants a house this big. Like,
I don't recommend it to most people.
Yeah,
it's
really.
a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, you know. I remember being told growing up, like, you know, either you own the house or the house owns you.
And what's it for you guys? Does the house own you, or do you own the house?
We have the house in order to support us to be able to share this message with the world. If we weren't interested.
Oh my God, you can share any message with the world from a small house.
In continuing past this point, I wouldn't need a house this big.
Hi, I'm Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel. Today, my office, along with local law enforcement, the Michigan State Police,
I did play this already, but I'm actually just going to play it
and
again.
the U.S. Department of Labor Office of Inspector General executed search warrants on 2 residences as part of our investigation into Twin Flames Universe. Twin Flames is a largely online organization with leaders based in Leelanau County, Michigan, that allegedly uses coercive control over its members, both in Michigan and across the United States. We believe that many of their actions may have been illegal, and we're asking for the general public's help in this investigation. Anyone with information about potential criminal conduct regarding Twin Flames Universe, its operators, Jeff and Shalia Devine, Christine and Jason Emmerich, its related organizations, including the Church of Union and the Mind Alignment Process, or their members, are encouraged to contact my office and may do so anonymously. A website has been set up with a tip form, mi.gov/agtfu, or you can email us directly at ag-tfuinfo@mi.gov.
Let me just take it back a little bit in case anyone needs to see that. If you need to submit a tip for whatever reason, there are the details. And this video is linked in the description. It's unlisted. I don't know why it's unlisted, but you're not going to be able to find it unless you have the link for it. Okay, so that was everything that I wanted to go through today. And I see we did do like 1.5 hours, but there's a really good video that I want to go into next time. I think it's with, is it Jesse Weber? Where they talk about, the investigation and what the investigation could mean. And that's also really interesting from a legal perspective. So I'd like to do another part of this. And then obviously with an investigation happening, we're just going to keep an eye on it, see if any court documents come out, we just wait, see what happens. I think it's a really interesting case, and well, I think it will be. But yeah, watch the documentaries if you haven't seen them. And we're definitely, I'm very interested in this, and I hope that you guys are too. So if you want to see more, just keep an eye. And I invite you to explore the like and subscribe button, please, if you feel I deserve it. And thank you so much for watching. And thank you so much for laughing with me. I hope you guys all have a beautiful day further. Bye.